indeed, a lot of uncertainty, uncertainty of how things may unfold. How will Hezbollah survive such a very significant blow? Now we know for a fact that the party and the militia has suffered a great blow over the past 2 weeks. We've seen the pagers explosions, the walkie-talkie explosions, the assassination of the entire command force of the Radwan, and supposedly the assassination of Nasrallah himself, Secretary General of Hezbollah, who's been leading the organization for the past 32 years, along with other senior military commanders within Hezbollah. How will this affect the current war with Israel is the first question. Will Hezbollah be able to function as a military body without its commanders and its Secretary General? How will the country face internally such a turning historical moment, if true? This is the man who's led the organization in its fight against Israel. He's led the organization in its internal political positions in Lebanon and its effect on the local Lebanese scene. And he is the person who also had a lot of geopolitical impact, especially in Syria and Iraq as well, with other pro-Iranian militias. He was the person who supported Bashar al-Assad's regime in Syria and made sure he stayed at least controlling parts of Damascus and the Syrian coast. So this is a man who had some sort of a legacy, at least according to his own supporters. So definitely, if true, if confirmed from the Lebanese side that his assassination did happen, this is a major turn of events.
Yeah, and this also already looking like a turning point this past week with the escalation that we've seen. Hezbollah has significant military capacity before this week. I think we're still taking stock of what happened to know what the capacity is now, but give us an idea of how large the Hezbollah army is and what resources they had before this week.
Look, it's really tough to say what the accurate numbers are. We know that Hezbollah has supposedly an arsenal of rockets and missiles that could be compared in number to those of global powers. Hundreds of thousands of missiles in stock. In terms of fighting power, supposedly Hezbollah had between 50,000 and 100,000 fighters, but not all these fighters are senior commanders or they are people who could lead or train. So, and we've seen that the party and the militia have witnessed significant blows during the past year in this war of attrition against Israel. Now, if this assassination is confirmed, it was not the first assassination. It is on top of a series of eliminations and assassinations which Israel has conducted in different parts of the country, targeting local Hezbollah commanders in the south, local Hezbollah commanders in the Bekaa Valley, targeting high-ranking military commanders within Hezbollah like Fuad Shukr, and targeting the entire elite force commanders of Al-Radwan. At least 16 were killed in one assassination last week when Israel topples down an entire civilian building, killing at least 50 civilians in order to reach an underground bunker located under those buildings where the meeting between those 16 commanders of the elite Radwan force was taking place. So there's a lot of questions of where Hezbollah is going to go further. Will it be able to continue in this fight against Israel or not? What will happen within the internal Lebanese landscape? Now, we know that Hezbollah had some sort of a hegemony on the local Lebanese scene. What will be the case after Nasrallah's assassination? A lot of unanswered questions that only the next hours, if not days, if not weeks and months can answer.
Yeah, and we're getting some insight, at least on the Israeli side of things. In regards to that note, moments ago, the Israeli military spokesman said there's still a way to go. Hezbollah still has a capacity to fire into Israel. So the strikes we've seen this morning and overnight and all throughout the week, we can expect those to continue at the very least.
Yes, definitely. Even if without a senior command structure, Hezbollah focuses a lot on local small groups located within villages. So definitely, these small groups, even if they have some sort of a leftovers of a chain of command, they could still be firing missiles into northern Israel from southern Lebanon and other parts of the country.
Yeah, Rawad, just to remind our viewers something that you pointed out earlier. This would not be the first time. I mean, we're still waiting confirmation for Hassan Nasrallah's death, but this would not be the first time that Israeli authorities beat Hezbollah announcing the death of someone in the militia.
Can you repeat the question?
This would not be the first time that Israel announces the death of a senior member of Hezbollah before Hezbollah itself confirms that.
Yes. In fact, we could take an example of last week's assassination of the entire elite force of the Rawad and the assassination of Rawad Taha. We saw that the Israelis have, in multiple times throughout the last week, announced the assassination and who was assassinated and confirmed those assassinations before we received any confirmation from any local Lebanese source or from Hezbollah. So potentially the fact that Israel so confidently announced that the assassination of Nasrallah was successful, and given the past assassinations over the past year during this war of attrition between Hezbollah and Israel, the potential for it to be true is definitely very high.
Yeah, Israel saying it's carrying out this operation to remove terror threats of these strikes on Friday in Beirut, overnight, this morning as well. Any update on the number of casualties there?
We have no confirmations on the number of casualties overnight, especially given the fact that at least six buildings were completely wiped out. So there is no clear number of fatalities in those 6 buildings that were completely wiped out. So we need to wait for the upcoming hours to receive the latest updates from the Ministry of Health in Lebanon.
Yeah, and can you paint a picture for us about what this neighborhood looks like where those strikes occurred, how densely populated it is, what day-to-day life is like there?
This is an average neighborhood of Beirut's southern suburbs. It's not a slum. It's just an extension of the city. A lot of people moved there during the civil war after the 1982 Israeli invasion. Mostly people from southern Lebanon and from the Bekaa Valley moved from their villages and stayed in Beirut's southern suburbs seeking work opportunities, seeking better lives. Families live there. Not everyone who lives in that neighborhood are Hezbollah supporters. So definitely there is a high number of civilian casualties of those who were killed in the initial carpet bombing of the neighborhood before they were able to penetrate the bunkers with the bunker buster bombs that they used.